Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little different than what you're normally used to. If you are new here, you might not understand what's going on in this video. I have other videos that explain my story and my past history in the cult that I was born in. So if you're interested in that, I have videos, tons of videos on that. But this video is going to be a little bit different. This video is specifically for order members, my family members who are still in the polygamous church. This video is directed specifically towards order member insiders. So I just want to start off this video by saying I know what it's like to believe that Paul is the man on the watchtower. At one point in my life, I believed everything that he said. I followed all of the order standards to a T, and I believed fully that by following his teachings and following the standards, I was going to be able to be given eternal life in the afterlife, in the celestial kingdom. I know that you think that I'm a completely different person than you, but I at one point was you. Before I get into this story, I have one question that I want to ask all of the order members, and that question is, do the order standards that we live by apply to the one who created them? Do the order standards apply to Paul himself? The story that I'm going to tell you guys today has gone around the order for years. It was going around the order when I was still a member of the order. I remember thinking that it wasn't true. Even after I had left, I didn't know if it was true until I was contacted recently by the person who was involved in this story. So I'm going to be sharing this story today. I have notes right now that I'm reading because I want to make sure that this story is word for word what she had told me. The person involved in this story did contact me and give me permission to use a photo, and she gave me permission to tell her story. So you might see me reading off just because I want to make sure that this story is as accurate and as true to her words as possible. I wanted to make this video to show the truth behind this story. The woman who contacted me to give me permission to use her story, her name is Christy Tucker. She was on the phone with me, and I was actually typing up the story as she was telling it to me because I wanted to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. So let's get into this video. So back in the 70s, Christy was going to high school, and back then they didn't have a private school for the order or the order members, so a lot of order members did go to public schools. Christy was around the same age as the leader Paul. Paul was not the leader at this time because he was also in high school. He was also young. So her and Paul were in the same age group, and they had the same kind of group of friends that they would all hang out with in public school. Paul, Christy, Ronald, a few other people. Spoiler alert, Ronald ends up marrying Christy later on down the line. So back at this time, remember again, it's the 70s, it's back in the day when everyone's still really young, going to high school. Christy's high school was having a couples dance. So everyone in their friend group was asking each other who wants to go to the dance together as a couple. And Christy ended up asking Paul if he would like to go to the couples dance with her. It was a typical dance where they would wear the corsage and the boutonnieres, and they would go to the dance together. Anyway, they had gone to multiple dances together. It was kind of just a thing that they did as teenagers. At one of the couples dances, Paul Kingston actually paid for this photo, and this is the photo that has gone around the order. There was rumors of this photo because it is a picture of the leader with a woman that he never ended up marrying. If you're an outsider, you don't understand why it's such a big deal, but order members know why this is a big deal. If you're in the order, you know what the order standards are, and you know that one of the biggest order standards is K is for kiss. I will save my kiss for my wedding day. And this order standard goes into even more depth. And we all know we're not supposed to hold hands with anyone of the opposite sex unless we are engaged to be married to them. We're not supposed to pair off with anyone who is the opposite sex. I remember being told I'm not even supposed to hug anyone who is not my dad or my siblings, my sisters, my mom. You can see why this picture is a pretty big deal, to be seeing the leader of the order breaking his own order standards that he's enforcing on his own kids and his own followers. Fast forward 20 years from these couple dances, Christy ends up marrying Ronald, like I told you guys. She has a family in the order. She has kids, she's married, and they are following the order standard, and they are still consecrating all of their money into the church. They're still living as order members. So I'm going to read this part word for word so that I make sure that I say it right. So Christy said that she was actually I think she was saying she was at the mine. It doesn't really matter where she was at, but one of the order members, older order members, so she was an older woman, she was saying something along the lines of, I cannot believe that order kids would complain about not being able to go to their outside school dances. Why would order kids want to go to public school dances? Because it's breaking order standards to be going to dances, right? To be pairing off with someone who's not the same gender. So she says this, Christy overhears it, and she replies, you know that Paul went to school dances. And the woman responds, you are a liar. There is no way that Brother Paul would ever do that. And this is why this was such a rumor and people said it was a lie, because followers could not believe that the leader would break his own standards. So, and I believed that too. I believed that there's no way that Paul went to a school dance with someone he didn't marry. There's no way that he paired off with a woman that he didn't marry. It caused some negativity because people thought that Christy was lying. Fast forward a little bit further in Christy's life, later on, her family realizes that the order was not for them and for their family, and they wanted to leave the order and have a life of their own on the outside. If you're an order member, you know that all of your incomings and outgoings are in the name of the Lord. So she had her properties in the order. She had all of her money in the order bank. Her husband and her kids. Everything was invested in the order. So how do you leave? And remember, Ronald and Christy were pretty good friends with Paul before he had become the leader, way back when they all went to high school together. So they knew a lot about Paul. So they decide they're going to go into the office, the order bank, and ask for their money and ask for their properties to be put in their name. And I'm gonna keep going back to my computer to read from here just to make sure that I'm saying exactly how she had told me. Her husband went into the order bank to withdraw his money, and they would not give the money or sign the homes over. Instead, they said, we may give you all of your assets as long as you sign a paper that says you will never prosecute us. And her husband thought that was weird, so Ronald said no, he's not going to sign. They kept trying to get their savings, and they kept trying to go back and say, we need to get our properties, we need to get our savings. And they would not give it to him, her husband. They said, will you sign this and we will give it over? So there was like a continuous cycle. Ronald would go in and say, can I get my money out? And they would continuously say, you know what, you can have it if you sign this piece of paper that says you're never going to prosecute us. I don't know what they were so worried about getting prosecuted for, but like the order has done a lot of things like that. Like they know that they're doing shady stuff, so they try to like make sure that they're covering their own back. But Ronald was smart and he didn't sign it. But because he wouldn't sign it, they wouldn't give him his own property and his own money. Finally, after going back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, then one of the higher up numbered men said that if the family gets packed, gets all their stuff ready to move, once you're packed, we will give you your savings. We'll sign everything over to you. So Ronald tells Christy, okay, let's get everything packed. Let's get everything ready to go. Like they got a moving truck. Ronald went in to go get his money that they promised, right? He says, I'm packed. Like, let's get this going like you promised. Christy's just waiting, right? She's just waiting to hear back from Ronald to see if he was able to get the properties and the money. And she gets a phone call from Ronald and he says, cancel the moving truck. They're not giving us our money. Christy at this point is so distraught. She feels so trapped. What do you do at this point? You have no control over things that are yours. They're not giving you the freedom that you're so desperately wanting. So Ronald comes up with an idea. He asks Christy, he says, do you still have that picture of you and Paul at the couples dance back in high school? Christy did have that picture. He says, get the picture. And they put together a list.
The list showed one order standard that Paul had broke, and it had 9 blank spaces for the rest of the order standards that they were going to uncover of Paul breaking if they were not going to receive the money that was rightfully theirs.
With number 1 being going to a public school dance. They typed it up. Some of the wording was, could Brother Paul really be the leader of the order if he himself broke order standards? Because remember, they went to school with Paul, so they knew Paul when he was younger. They made 30 copies of it, and they handed them to their kids to hand them out on the school bus. And they told the kids to tell the other kids to give these papers to their parents. Some kids didn't. Some kids were like, what is this? And they got scared. But some kids did go home and directly to their parents and gave them these pieces of paper. So after this happened, Ronald and Christy get a phone call from Paul. Paul says, I hear you're trying to move and need your savings for your house. Come to the office. We have a check for you. And they were able to get their money out. It took them having to go to that extent just to get their own savings out of the order. You can see why it was a pretty big deal, because Paul himself knew. I'm sure that people were coming to Paul with questions like, is this true? Is this real? So this rumor did spread around for years. Because think about it, this is like way back before I was even born that this stuff had happened. The rumors were still being spread when I was alive in the order. And I just wanted to share this story, especially because I'm so grateful that Christy was so willing to share this story, because so many people had questions about this. And I feel like this story should be put out there because there is a reason why Paul was trying to hide it. Because it will cause us to question. It will cause members to question. It caused me to question while I was there. The more we shed light on the truth, then the followers and the order members, you guys watching, are able to get a better understanding and decide for yourself if you really do want to be following that, if you really do believe in that. Because these order standards are very, very strict. I don't feel like anyone really can follow them to a T their entire life, but you're expected to. So this video is to basically show, look, the leader didn't even follow the order standards. Why is he holding you guys to the higher standards than he himself? This video is not to cause any hate or negative feelings towards anyone in the order. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I too was you at one point. I was an order member who believed in everything and that Paul could do no wrong. And you have to take a step back and realize that Paul himself is human as well, just like we all are. It's not that this information should be out there and you can do with it what you will. Again, I thank you so much to Christy Tucker for giving me permission to share her story. I hope that this story, it causes you to really question these things that need to be questioned. And I know that in the order they do teach you to not question and to just follow the law of one above another. Don't ever just fully trust one person. You need to find out for yourself if it makes sense. Question everything until it makes sense. I feel like I need to end the video. It is my firm resolve and fixed purpose to give my all to the Lord. Anyways, for anyone who was not in the order watching this, sorry if it was confusing. I hope that I did explain it in a way where it wasn't confusing, but this video was the sole purpose of this video was to reach out to order members to give them this information that I feel like was hidden from them. It was hidden from me as well. So I hope this helped at least one person in the order at least. Thank you guys for watching my videos, even if I know it is hard for you guys to watch them because I know the reputation that I have and that the things that have been said about me in the order. I just want you to know from my own mouth, I have never wanted to hurt any of you guys. You guys are my family and I think that you do deserve the truth. And that's why I do what I do. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope I see you guys in the next video.